I've been listening to this YouTuber. His name is Martin Goldberg, and I've been listening to him for about the past year or so, and there are some things about him that's leading me to make this video. And what I wanted to start with is that I don't even think he's Jewish. He has the name Martin Goldberg, but I believe that's a cover. Well, obviously it's not his real name, but I don't think he's Jewish either. I'm not sure if it's an inside joke among his longtime listeners, but I don't believe he's Jewish. He says so many hateful things against the Jewish community, and to me it seems disguising himself as someone Jewish is sort of like a cover or an excuse that he thinks will allow him to say the things that he does and maybe get more leeway from YouTube. I can't prove that. That's what I strongly believe. But despite the fact I don't think he's Jewish, there actually are a lot of similarities I think that he has with a former radio talk show host. His name was Michael Savage. He was popular from like 2000 to 2012. He was really popular. Even beyond that, up and through Trump's first term, that's when he started waning. And Martin Goldberg has these people who reply on his channel on the videos he makes, and they call him Dr. Goldberg, which I find really cringe because he does not have a doctorate, but I believe that an audience he has is a certain type of boomer that's looking for someone ideological to tell them what's wrong with the world and how terrible things have become. And that's what Michael Savage would do, and it's also what Martin Goldberg does. So I believe there's an overlap between the audience and the same submissive boomers that feel the need to have someone who tells them and explains to them, who they look at to as an authority figure as to what's wrong with the world. The same people who were calling Dr. Savage Doctor, his real name is Michael Weiner, and he does have a PhD in ethnobotany, but he doesn't introduce himself as doctor. It's just something that the submissive boomers who listen feel the need to give him that title. And I think that Martin Goldberg, his commenters, are giving him the title for the same reason. And moving on from that, the main deal with Martin Goldberg that I think is fueling his hate is that he cannot get a white woman. He cannot enter a relationship with a white woman. He's probably been rejected from white women many times. Maybe he's been able to have sex on occasion with white women, but he has not been able to get one to commit to a relationship with him. And I think that this is what has driven him to these doomer, red pill, B pill communities that he's sort of a spokesman in. He's a big manosphere guy, and I think this is his main motivation as to why he ended up where he did. And aside from that, aside from his romantic failures that I estimate he's been through many, he's also a cheap person because he talks about videos, and he'll make a video about how he's saving so much money using the app to order a coffee from McDonald's, and he'll have that one cup of coffee and he'll be sitting in the McDonald's for hours just sipping it. I guess he probably has a tablet or a laptop with him, and his main hobby seems to me to be looking at doomer YouTubers and doomer Twitter, manosphere Twitter, and just consuming that all day. And I noticed that a lot of these podcast type of guys, they spend most of their day listening to their rivals and their perceived competition, what they're doing, and staying abreast of what they're up to. I think that consumes a big part of his day. But just the fact that he's in the McDonald's, the reason why he goes to these places is because he's running a strategy of game. And what I believe, he wants to be the beta provider. And he's in the McDonald's. He's on the prowl for poor women that have no education, no skills, and they need to work to survive. And Martin Goldberg is looking to prey on women like that. He really wants a woman that is dependent on him because he feels that's the only way he's going to have a long-lasting relationship, is to have a woman who's depending on him because he claims he owns a house, he has a mortgage, has a car, maybe multiple cars, and makes a decent amount of money. Probably college educated. I'm not sure if he has a master's degree. He's talked about how he wants to get this online master's degree from Europe for like $5,000, but in reality, who's going to respect that credential? That is curry maxing. Some diploma, fake graduate degree. But back to the point. He spends a lot of time at McDonald's because he's looking for a woman to notice him, a worker who's desperate. And he's running regular game, I'd say, as in he's trying to become a regular of certain places and to get noticed and build rapport. And eventually he'll be able to find a woman who's willing to go out with him, a McDonald's worker. And he does the same thing at Walmart. He said he likes to go late at night and shop at Walmart because it's a lot less crowded late at night. But I think that he's looking for more desperate people, such as women working the night shift. And as the beta man that I think he is, I think he enjoys shopping at a time when there's the least amount of crowds possible, because being around a bunch of other people would make him nervous probably, or anxious. And the content of his videos, he's speaking from the perspective of a very scared, cowardly person who's turning to hate to address his own incompetencies. Because he says he goes to the gym, and there's this short Indian guy at the gym who he claims is always angry all the time, and he's worried that he's going to start something in the gym and start freaking out on him. But Martin Goldberg is the type of person who can't mind their own business. They can't just go lift. He always has to be included. He has this fantasy that he's going to stop the guy in the act if he starts freaking out at the gym. But obviously that's not going to happen. But where the bravery comes from is the fact that he has a concealed carry gun that he claims to own, and he's ready. He trains with it. It's this typical boomer fantasy, the guns, that I'm gonna need them one day for the boomers, and he's ready to use it. So that gives him courage to be about these places late at night. But in general, he does not give good advice. He complains, he spreads hate, racism, but such as when he's talking about the gym, he doesn't talk about what kind of exercises he does, his workout routine, what he's doing to try to improve his life at the gym. He's talking about some immigrant at the gym that scares him. So that's the context of when he brings up the gym. And he's a guy, he's probably maybe late 30s, early 40s. He's getting older. He's past the prime age of becoming a father. And I think that's also driving him more to extreme content and hate, because he realizes that his place in life, his prime, is fading away, and he's going to soon lose the opportunity to do some ideal accomplishments in life, like getting married and becoming a parent at the right time. And his whole content, his whole strategy, I think that he has this racist idea of becoming a white savior figure, as in he's looking for ethnic women that are poor, such as McDonald's and Walmart workers, and he feels that he's going to be the one to save them from their situation, and in turn that they're going to love him and commit to him and be his idealized partner. But the truth is he's not a savior. It's predatory. It's called being a beta predator when you look to take advantage of women in these situations who you want to become dependent on you. And I think that's his ultimate goal and where he's headed to. Now, speaking about the kind of person I think he is, I think that he's probably a Canadian guy because he's always talking about the presence of Muslims in his community and Indians in his community. And I know that per capita, those communities are more represented in Canada than they are in the United States. So I don't think he is an American, but I do believe that he's pretending to be an American. And recently, he started talking about making an ICE application, but he had to give up his ICE application because over a pay dispute. But that's just an excuse. I doubt there ever was an ICE application because you'd go to the academy and then you'd sort everything out from there. Why would you torpedo your application over a very minor pay discrepancy? You're not even going to be starting full time until you complete the training anyway. So there's lots of opportunity to get that taken care of. And I think he's abusive, or I should say more so defensive, because the only comments he replies to on his videos in general are people that are attacking him, and that's what he interacts with. So he's someone who's looking for conflict, looking for drama. And something that I found really cringe is that in defense of himself, he wrote, "Women have proposed to me." And that, to me, is a very feminine way to defend yourself, saying, "Look, I'm pre-selected. I've turned down women." But what kind of man brags about a woman proposing to you and you turning her away? That's something that women are proud of. Women are the ones who are proposed to, not men. So I thought that was very weird that he would go there. And in general, I believe he lives a sad existence. He made these videos talking about these doomer YouTubers who play Modern Warfare 2 while talking about how awful life is. Yet he's constantly consuming this content, analyzing it, and trying to find his place. But he doesn't really speak just purely of his own experiences in life. He's always absorbing and trying to consume as much of this B-pill content and community as he can, which I don't believe someone successful in life is that involved with. So he doesn't just make videos, talk about himself. He's constantly analyzing other people online. In general, I think his videos, which have become more extremist lately, is showing how he realizes his place in life getting older. And it's that beta rage coming out, in the beta fantasies. He's implying that there could even be a civil war in the country, which obviously is not going to happen. And if it was going to happen, there's no signs of it currently. No real signs of that being a possibility. But he's the type of beta person, beta old guy that's in fear, mediocre white guy who's no longer able to have a prime sort of existence by just being a mediocre white guy in the globalized economy. You need to bring a lot more to the table than that. And that's why he hasn't been able to get a white woman to marry.